I've had my 1999 C5 Corvette for a few years now, and it hasn't always been perfect. It's had its fair share of problems, but it's probably been the most rewarding car that I've ever owned. Today I want to go in depth on what it's really like to own one of these cars. The fun, the frustrations, and everything in between, so stay tuned. Let's talk about why you buy a Corvette in the first place, the driving experience. Even bone stock, this car felt pretty quick compared to pretty much all of my friends' cars. The C5 has a great power to weight ratio even against modern sports cars. On top of that, the LS1 is a solid engine. It has great power, great reliability, and it has tons of aftermarket support. There's a reason why so many people swap this engine into pretty much every car you can imagine. The C5 also feels light on its feet compared to other sports cars. It's got that low seating position, which means a low center of gravity, a long hood, a rear transaxle setup, and a 50-50 weight distribution. If anyone tells you that this car was only meant to drive in a straight line, they've never driven a C5. An added bonus is that taking the roof off completely changes the vibe. All of a sudden, it's a sports car and a cruiser rolled into one. If you have the FRC, then you won't have this feature, but for the coupe versions, having the removable target top is the icing on the cake. Honestly, for me, this is one of my favorite features. Now, I should probably mention gas mileage. This car is pretty thirsty. Long highway road trips really aren't too bad in these cars, and you can actually get pretty good gas mileage, but around the city, if you have a heavy foot like I do, then you'll start to see the fuel bills adding up. Especially now that I added the cam in this car, this thing drinks more than a bachelorette party in Vegas. Now, what's ownership without talking about reliability? Honestly, for a 25-year-old sports car, this thing has been incredibly reliable. This car has never left me stranded, and honestly, most of the things that I've dealt with have been little annoying things or just age-related maintenance. One of the first reliability issues that I had was the EBCM failure. A few months after I bought this car, I got the dreaded ABS and active handling lights that popped up on the dashboard. I read the codes and it was diagnosed as the EBCM, which is extremely common with these cars. The pre-2001 cars have the unrepairable EBCMs, and I say that in air quotes because some shops claim that they can repair those, but I haven't tried that yet. The post-2001 cars can be repaired pretty easily though if you solder the board, but for me, it looks like I'm just going to have to live with it for a while, I guess. The next one is an issue that I knew I had when I bought the car, and that is the reverse gear pop-out. When I first bought this car, the shifter would pop out of gear when I would put it in reverse. This was caused because the plastic shift fork pads on the shift fork were worn down. I ended up dropping the transmission to replace the pads and the reverse gear. I knew this was an issue when I bought the car though, and I got a pretty good deal because of it. But again, this is a known issue on the T56, so watch out. Besides that, all of the other reliability concerns that I've had with this car have been pretty minor. I've had small interior issues with this car, which are pretty common, but most are easily fixable. One issue in particular that a lot of people have is the cigarette lighter door flop. I recently fixed the issue where the door for the cigarette lighter flops around and doesn't stay closed, and that was super annoying. Another issue was a very premature radiator replacement. I had to replace my radiator early on as well because the previous owner replaced the radiator with a unit from AutoZone. I would recommend going with OEM radiators just because the side seals are much less prone to leaking. Spending a little extra money will save you a lot of headache in the long run. The last one was more of preventative maintenance, but I also replaced my harmonic balancer. Although my balancer didn't start wobbling, I replaced mine with a Summit Racing unit during my cam install so I wouldn't have to worry about it later down the road. This is a big upgrade if you want to get it out of the way before it becomes a problem. Now these aren't all of the problems that I've had, but they're the most notable ones. One more thing to add to maintenance because it just came to my mind, make sure to clean out your radiator fins because these things are bottom feeders and they suck up a ton of leaves and debris, and if those get clogged up, your car won't cool very efficiently and that can cause overheating issues, so make sure to clean those out. Now there are a lot of other issues that are common with these cars that were fixed by the previous owner before I bought it. Some of these issues include the column lock issue, the AC blend doors, window regulators, headlight gear failures, clunky rear end noise / leaky diff, and the clutch slave cylinder quick bleeder. I personally dodged all of these because the previous owner fixed them, but they're worth mentioning because they're part of the C5 ownership story. One of the best parts about owning a C5 is how mod-friendly it is. The LS platform is basically Legos for adults. The biggest change that I made recently is the cam upgrade, the top-end rebuild, and a tune. That woke it up like nothing else. Honestly, it feels like a whole new car. More power, more sound, and honestly, a more exciting experience overall. There are tons of directions you can go with mods. Heads, intake, exhaust, forced induction, but honestly, even just doing a cam makes you faster than 90% of the other cars on the road. I haven't dynoed my C5 yet, but I think it's in the 380 to 400 horsepower range if I had to guess. So what's it like day to day? Well, I don't daily drive this car, but it's a pretty comfortable ride. The suspension is firm but not punishing. It feels planted on the road and at the track. And the trunk space is surprisingly good for a two-seater sports car. You could road trip one of these pretty easily, and you also have plenty of room for your weekly groceries. Also, insurance isn't bad at all. I actually spend less on my C5 Corvette than I do on my 2012 Ram 1500. Parts for the C5 are also super cheap, especially compared to European sports cars, and you can pretty much do all the work yourself in your own garage. But it is an older car, so you're going to have to deal with some rattles, squeaks, and some outdated technology. That's just part of the package. Looking back at my ownership so far, I can honestly say that the C5 has been one of my best car decisions I've made. It's not perfect. It has its headaches, and it can be a pain in the ass sometimes, but it's fast, reliable enough, fun, and affordable compared to other cars in its price range and class. So if you're thinking about buying one, just go in with realistic expectations. Expect that you're going to deal with some common problems, expect that you're going to spend some time maintaining it, and expect that you're going to scrape your middle air dam sometimes. But also expect a car that puts a smile on your face every time that you drive it. But there you have it, guys. That is my honest experience owning my C5 Corvette over the past few years. If you own a C5 Corvette, let me know in the comments below and tell me what your experience has been like, because I'd love to hear about it. But as always, if you enjoyed the content for today, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for future content. I'll catch you guys next week. Later.